the Uganda we want. So mu Uganda gye twagala mu lutalo luno olw'okulwanyisa obulabbayo obukenuzi nze kyempita obuvundu. Munna Uganda alina okuba nga yeenyigiramu.
Ffenna twenyigire mu lutalo.
Ate abalala tebasomye kuzimba wabula bayize okuzimba.
Uganda gye twagala okulaba ng'enguudo zonna nkole nungi, public transport nga weeri.
Kati eno gavumenti eriwo erina akabonero ka Lucifer. Buli kyotunulako mu Uganda kiriko oxygen. Either babika amawulire malungi oba mawulire mabi. Minisita teyeetaagisa kabangali budde buno zaaki.
Welcome to the program, The Uganda We Want. My name is Mulanzi Robert. I am so happy, I am so delighted to come back with this program, The Uganda We Want, on Dream TV and Bunyoro TV, and as well for some of you who are listening to us on Impact FM. We as well have people who follow this program on all our social media platforms and on internet on www.imc.ug. We are so grateful that you follow us, and also on Victory Uganda app. And around the globe, people are watching this program. They always send us messages encouraging us, and many of them are giving testimonies on how their minds have been shaped to think more about their country, Uganda. And to us, that is a testimony. And I believe even the presiding apostle, Dr. Joseph Serwada, is in agreement with what I'm going to say, that this now fulfills the purpose of this program. But as I always tell you, it's not yet over until it is over. We must speak about the Uganda we want to see, because we haven't felt it. We haven't landed into it, and we want to land into that kind of Uganda that we want. So in this program, we host you Ugandans. You come and you share with us the kind of Uganda that you want to see. And today I have my guest, Mr. Elvis Freeman Opondo. Is a mass communication and journalism candidate or student at UMI, but as well he has been in this country for some time. He's born of Tororo town. Very soon it will be Rock City, Tororo City, the Rock City. And you know, of course, Tororo cement comes from there. I must visit you people, you Tororo cement people. We must come to you. And the other time I had the president of this country talking about the metric tons now we produce of cement, and I was encouraged, and I'm like, hey, we are going somewhere. All right, so he's with me, and I just want you to sit down, tell everyone, come together, okay? Come together. Let us hear from him as he shares the kind of Uganda that he wants to see. I'm so honored to have you on the show, The Uganda We Want.
Thank you, sir.
Millions of people are watching you on Dream TV, Bunyoro TV, Impact FM. They are listening in on all our social media platforms. Could you please greet our viewers and listeners?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mulanzi. I'm honored to be here on this program, The Uganda We Want. Because I know every Ugandan has a specific kind of Uganda they want. So honored indeed, like I said, and Elvis Freeman Opondo, a student of UMI, doing journalism and communication management.
Oh, journalism and communication management.
Yes.
Okay.
Like we speak for people, we speak for entities, we represent entities. That's the course I'm pursuing. Okay. I'm so happy, and I thank Apostle Joseph Serwada for this opportunity, this program, Impact FM stations, Dream TV, and now also Bunyoro TV is now ours.
Yeah, it's now ours.
We thank God for that.
We thank God for the Prime Minister who came all the way to Boma Grounds in Hoima to launch the partnership that we do have now between Dream TV and Bunyoro TV, and we are so grateful, and we thank her for coming over. The state has been so much in support with what the presiding apostle does.
We already in the Uganda we want
no, in support, not yet. I don't know if that's the kind I want to see.
We want the Uganda of partnerships.
Okay.
Of stretching out the outreach of media coverage, mostly in the gospel.
Yeah, we are waiting for them because we've not been using the Mandela National Stadium for the Passover Festival for quite some time. We've been using a Chambogo Sports Playground, but we hope that the state will do something.
True.
There is some light.
True.
You know, there was some news that came up like, they have just worked on that stadium.
They can't allow people
going back there, allowing people there. So, but there's some light that we might go back and have our Passover Festival and the Mandela and the newly built Mandela National Stadium. But we hope the state will again do some pushing there. Okay.
True.
All right, but well, before we go in details and before I hear from you the kind of Uganda that you want to see, someone who is watching us and listening would love to know, okay, I've heard that he's called Elvis Freeman Opondo, but who is he? Who is Elvis Opondo, who is going to speak to us the kind of Uganda he wants to see?
True. Thank you again, Mr. Mulanzi, for this opportunity. Elvis Freeman Opondo is a student. Maybe let me start with saying he's a Ugandan.
Tambula na Uganda.
He's a Ugandan. He has been in this country for some time, around 35 years now. So he has indeed seen some things in Uganda. I'm a student, and I've been a student for quite a time. Maybe if you give me time, we shall talk about that. I also happen to be serving in Uganda Prison Service.
So you're a prison officer? I'm
a prison officer.
Afande?
I've been there in July, I will be making 10 years.
Okay.
That is from 2014. We've been serving the nation. And so in my studies, in the serving the nation, the 10 years I'm talking about, there is what I've seen in Uganda, and indeed there is a kind of Uganda I want to see.
Okay. Yeah. I would love us to give some credit to the schools that have been giving you education. Where did you go for your primary, if you did? Some of us, we never went for nursery. I don't know if you're like me, but if you went for nursery, I would love, if the school is still there, if not, still would love to know. Then tell me your kindergarten school, your primary school and secondary school. Of course, now we've heard about UMI, which is okay now, but you can at least tell me your kindergarten, your primary and secondary. Let's give them credit.
Thank you. 1996. I was in a school called St. Mary's Nursery School in Luzira.
In Luzira?
Lakeside.
Okay.
So I was there. Fortunately, I was there just for a year. I think because I was bright, they kept pushing me. I didn't finish the 3 years of baby, middle, and then top. And then 1997, I joined Primary 1. And that is Luzira Church of Uganda Primary School.
That was the year we introduced the universal primary education.
Exactly.
1997.
Exactly. So we were there, but midway, Dad couldn't afford the little money they were paying. Because I think that introduced it, but it wasn't yet in effect. So what happened is that Dad lost his job, and we left, in 97, we left Kampala for Tororo. Where I joined a school called Achilet Primary School in Tororo. I started off my school again, resumed from the village. It wasn't easy really switching from city to the village, but we had to go to, if I can call, default or factory setting. After that, I also went to a more primary school, still Tororo, where I was for my P3, finished the P3, came back to Achilete now. So Achilete, I started the P4 and then finished P7 in 2003. I finished P7. 2004, I joined St. James Comprehensive School, still Achilete, in the same vicinity where I did the primary. It was a new school, so we're the pioneers of that school. And with the difficulties of school fees, I was bright though, I could try, but still they pushed me out. So I could have breaks of school and then home. And then I went to Rubonge SS, still within Tororo, Rubonge near the barracks.
Near
if
the
you know
barracks,
Tororo.
yeah, I do.
So I went to Rubonge SS, senior 2. Still it failed. I went to do some other, helping dad at home, helping mom with garden work and stuff, because there was no money. And we were quite a number. We were 3 all in secondary school. So we were 2 in the same class, and my bro, Brian, was in a class ahead of us. So it was hard for dad really to support us. And so we had breaks really here and there. So that was 2004. 2005, I switched to another school. There was a good Samaritan who came in and offered to help me. So I went to a school called Massimiliano Memorial Secondary School, still within Tororo. That was 2005, senior 2. And then still midway, I didn't finish it up. School fees now disappeared completely. And how much was it? Was around 40,000?
Yeah.
60,000.
We used to struggle, 10,000,
but
8,000.
we were 3. Remember, we were 3 of us. So it was really hard. So I went home. I sat home, helping dad, helping mom with work. And then I was advised by him to join a cousin of mine in town, Tororo town, to learn some skill. The guy was doing welding in Tororo town. So I joined him and I was there helping him, painting the already finished products. And after that, I switched on to, let me say I was independent. Doing Omuganda Guita Gununaguli.
Okola Gununaguli.
Webali. So I was in a timberland. It's a big timber place in Tororo. So I could do finishing of furniture, offloading of timber, really that collar thing. I carried all sorts of weight. That was 2006.
Though you don't look so.
Yeah, it changed.
Not like me.
Many things changed. I was so muscular, I was so rigid, but I think, I don't know, maybe stress has put me down. Well,
don't tell people, they may think I don't have stress.
Well, so that was 2006, 2007, and 2009. I was in Tororo town. What were we doing? We're basically carrying timber, offloading timber, all kinds of work that there was to be done. Yeah. You do this, somebody gives you a wage, you do the other, they give you a wage, just like that. And in 2009, Dad had come to Kampala.
Okay.
And so he calls me and asks me, are you still interested in school? I said, yes. He said, okay.
After something like 4 years?
Those
3
were
to 4
3
years. 3
Those
years.
were 3, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I tell him, yeah, I'm still interested in school. He tells me, come over, pick all your books and come. So I hit Kampala with the hope of going back to school. I hit Kampala. I see him not doing anything really which can bring in money. He was doing something I don't want to mention on air, but he wasn't doing well. And I joined him in doing that, some sort of kiosk and stuff. So I joined him in that, and as time went on, he told me, he advised me to join one of his colleagues, one was a mason, one was a driver. So he told me to join the mason to be moving in these construction sites to get something to do. So I went with his advice. I went with a guy called Michael, and we started moving Kampala. Old Kampala, Bunga, Naguru, in those sites and stuff. So when I got to know Kampala, I now became independent. Because this guy, Michael, his way of life was not the kind that I wanted. He was a person who really goes late in the night and then sometimes even fails to look for you for updates. By then, phones were not something so common.
Yeah.
So for somebody to give you information, he comes home. He comes home. And so many times, this man wouldn't come home. So I would sit home with my dad, and that bored me. But I'd already made some friends in these construction sites. And what happened is that I started looking for those sites on my own. And I was in full scale now, what we call Juakali. Resuming now what I used to do in Tororo. But in this time, it was construction, carrying a lot of cement.
And a bit modified, the pay is a bit modified?
There was nothing. I remember a day was 2,500 with an Indian. In case it's a fellow African, it used to be 3,000 a day.
An Indian could pay you 2,500. An African or Ugandan then could pay you
3,000 shillings.
Wow.
And those Africans I worked with in those construction sites were Kenyans. So when they had the name Opondo, you know, they also have Opondo the other side.
Yes.
So when they had Opondo, they say, this is
our man, our own, one of us.
This is one of us. So they could gamble, we could gamble. They speak their Luo, I speak my Jap, and they say we meet. But anyway, incidentally, I knew some Kiswahili, and we could really connect very well. So that was 2009, 2010, and a bit of 2011. And I could switch on a lot of cores, sometimes construction sites, sometimes supermarkets. I worked in a washing bay. I was a guard, a night guard somewhere. And of course, sometimes I didn't have what to do. So that was the kind of life I moved through within Kampala. It hardened me. We thank God I was born again.
Okay.
I was born again. I had a lot of friends who could go out. You see, they knew these places, so they could take me out, and then before you know it, they are with Banekolera Jang. They are with them, and they spend a lot of time. And I used to get so lonely, and I used to feel out of place. So I pray to God to remove me from that kind of life. And still, I wanted to go to school because I had friends of mine that I started with. People I was even brighter than them were doing well. I had already finished, had already graduated. Some of them, of course, branched and went for diplomas. They were already doing well. And I was in this kind of life. I saw my future really constricting. But the more the future got constricted, the more I delved into God issues. I was in church. I used to be an usher. I used to be in a choir. I used to really do the church work. And that kept me so safe. I thank God I didn't indulge in any other things which would derail my future or even my focus towards education. So I went back to Tororo.
You went back?
Yeah, that was 2011. 2011, I went back to Tororo. There was another opportunity for school.
Okay.
Yeah, because I went after a call was made to me. And somebody told me there's an opportunity. I kept on waiting as the opportunity matured. But as I was waiting, I went back to the timberland. So what happened is that finally the opportunity came. And guess what it was? I had to go to the school I was in 5 years ago. In the same class, senior 2. So I go to senior 2, the same class. And I'm in class with children, people who don't know the world, and they're jumping all over desks, and I'm wondering what's happening. I really felt out of place. And I loved biology so much and agriculture. So a teacher who had handled me 5 years ago was now the director of studies. He comes in class, the DOS, yeah. He enters class, he looks at me, I think he was told. So he looks at me and he feels a bit emotional. He just moves out. He doesn't teach. Senior 2 after 5 years. Me, I was positive. And then there was time for agriculture, I think another week. A guy comes in, my desk mate 5 years ago. The guy I could help with biology was now teaching me agriculture.
Now teaching you.
So after the class session, would go to the staff room and I would be treated like a staff of a sort.
A student treated like a staff, like a teacher.
Yeah, because most of them I knew them, we were age mates, and that was my struggle. Yeah. Fast forward 2013, I finished senior 4. Actually, they even made me, let me say they made me a head prefect, and so that's where my leadership began from. In 2013, I finished senior 4. 2014, I'd started senior 5. I even wanted to go for some course, agriculture. I loved agriculture so much, but there was no money. And so I went for senior 5. Since now I was qualifying for USE. I went to senior 5.
Which school?
That was Rubonge Army.
Okay, Rubonge
Secondary
Army?
school.
Secondary school.
Yeah. But I was there for just one term. Things were not really happening the way I wanted. Mere 20,000 for development fee that they used to request for, I didn't have.
So you went to which other school?
So
From Rubonge Army?
From Rubonge Army, I joined prisons.
Prisons, okay.
That was 2014. There was an advert. I'd never dreamt that I would join prison service, but an advert came. And due to the condition I was in, I said, let me go. I better suffer for my country than suffering for any Indian, for any other foreman in the site, because I knew what I went through. So I'd made up my mind. I joined prison 2014. Fast forward, I reported for training. We did the training. 2015, we finished what we call pass out. And I was posted to Karamoja. That is a Beam district, to be specific. 2015, I worked. Still, I had that desire for education to further my education. So what I did, 2016, I talked to my OC, asking him whether I would go and do something. And then he told me, but where will you go to school? There are no schools around. He actually laughed at me because it was really funny. But I told him, sir, I would join senior 6. Remember, I'd not finished senior 5. I just did first term, but I knew the subject combinations I wanted. And so when he said yes, I hit a school in Agago neighboring Abim called the Adilang SS, Adilang Secondary School. I went there for senior 6 direct, got my combinations right, I finished school. That is 2016. 2017 I worked, 18 I worked, 19 I talked to the OC. The other OC who had given me an opportunity to go for the senior 6 was transferred. I had been transferred rather. And the new OC also welcomed my idea. Okay. He gave me a chance. I was admitted at UCU for a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, which I started. Midway, things were a bit hard.
As always, they have been hard from
always,
primary. From
primary. So, well, he advised me to ask for a study leave. I did, and I thank God he used the CGP Commissioner General, who granted me that, a study leave. And so I studied comfortably during the COVID time. I was in school. So you graduated? I graduated in 2020.
You have a bachelor?
Please.
Okay. Then from a bachelor, you're not doing masters?
I'm now doing a postgraduate diploma.
Postgraduate diploma in journalism.
In journalism and communication management.
Wow. I think Ugandans now, you know who is going to speak to us. The kind of Uganda that he wants to see. One thing I picked from his testimony is he decided at one time to go into a sacrifice, kind of a sacrifice, because if I quote him very well, he said, instead of suffering for all these other things, let me go and suffer serving my country.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I have paraphrased.
Yes, please.
Okay. Obujulizi tubuulidde mwami Opondo. I am I've been anxious. I want to hear from you, having gone through everything that you have said, and you went through all that while in this country, Uganda. It covers a lot of sectors. There is education. You've been working. It covers the economy. You've been in a prison. It covers, how to deal with people and how you people deal with people as well. It gives you a foundation and a basis for you to share with us the kind of Uganda. Which kind of Uganda do you want to see?
Thank you so much once again, Mr. Mulanzi.
Yeah.
Uganda is a very good country. Blessed, endowed by nature, with good people, well treated. And the other thing that people are taking for granted is that we have a very good motto: for God and my country. I believe it was God or the Holy Spirit that instructed that man to use that, to coin that out: for God and my country. Very simple. That means whatever happens in here, whatever we do, we should do it for God and our country. If anything is there that we are supposed to do, let it glorify God, but also let it give our country a good name, a good reputation. And so I want to dwell in there from our motto: for God and my country. I want to talk about morality. It's a very big, broad subject that we can't really finish everything about it.
What's wrong with morality?
Morality, the decadence of it. And I want us to go to the foundation. Those are the children, those are the youths. The youths need guidance. Children need guidance. And to guide them, we need the people who have the guidance with them. You don't guide people from just the blue. You must have the basis from which you stand to guide someone. You must have the knowledge. I still take you back: for God and my country. That is what I want to dwell on.
So are you trying to say, Mr. Elvis, that the increasing moral decadence in this country is a result of some people we are supposed to guide this nation, a result of those people failing to understand the motto, our motto, for God and my country?
My point is, because you see, earlier when we started, we didn't want to go into lamentations. People have lamented.
Yeah.
People have talked about bad things happening in the country, and I didn't want to go to that. I wanted to hit the solution straight away. But maybe we can talk about...
to be good to someone to understand, why are you providing those solutions?
Thank you. Yeah. You see, when I talk about moral decadence, look at what's happening in the cities of Kampala. And I believe all these major towns. Youths are kicking people in streets. Look at what's happening on social media. I believe you are so much on social media. People don't have respect for elders. An elder brings an information and people attack it with abuse, with insults. And that is not good for our society. Look at I think it's also still in moral decay, that people are selfish. If there is any money, public money, they bring it to themselves. People call it corruption, and to them, corruption is something normalized. It is actually theft. In a country whose motto is for God and my country, it's supposed to be seen. That corruption, what they call corruption, it is now being made as though one is supposed to get a medal for it. Because
if you're corrupt, you need a medal.
It is almost that. But I pray we don't reach to that level. Because even the head of this country is not supporting it.
You're pushing me to do some research and see, are there corrupt people who have been given medals on Heroes Day or Labor Day?
Not really that. But I mean, people who are corrupt still come to the population and they are voted back. Because they go and steal the money, bring to the public, and they give them flowers. And when you're clean, you're
You
smart.
stopped me on the other. You pushed me off on the other way. I want to do some research. It's okay.
No, we don't need to go there. Because indeed, the president and this nation awards those who really provide services with a lot of excellence, not really corruption. But I mean, it has been so much normalized, not only in government, but even the populace. People who are corrupt steal the money, bring it home, bring it to the villages, and everybody's jango tuliemu. Oyo never muwe.
Ne ku church bazitwala.
Bazitwala. And then they clap for them. Instead of condemning it. So a country whose motto is for God and my country is supposed to be a country with either no or less moral decadence. I know, of course, morals are supposed to, those are the negatives are supposed to be there. Satan is still in operation. Those ones are supposed to be there. But we need to fight to make sure that it is reduced. Okay. Not to a level that it is right now.
Mr. Elvis, I want to, to pick something from your point there, yes, right please. There. So you're saying if Satan is in operation, what you're saying is, yes, the moral decadence could be there, but not to the extent where it is in our country.
Yes. At least not to that extent.
Okay.
Where people in broad daylight are kicking people, like gangs are kicking people, and then people are looking, of course, in fear. Because you don't know what the people are armed with, you can't go to try to save somebody. They can injure you, they can even kill you. But that level of moral decadence, that somebody doesn't have the fear of the Lord, the reverence of the Lord, even the fear of people who are watching. You kick somebody, you snatch a phone from them, and you can comfortably use it. And these are not old people, these are youths. And they have leaders. There's also something lacking in the leadership. The people that these youths vote, and they make a lot of noise for them, and then they sing praises to them, what do they give them in turn? Do they give them the advice? Do they support them in what they're supposed to know? Or their silence, as the other people's morals are decaying, also sort of catapults the decadence? Because I believe leaders were supposed to come out and condemn this in its totality. Condemn it. Condemn these insults on social media. People insulting the Kabaka, people insulting the Katikiro, people insulting President Museveni, a man who has steered this country for close to 40 years, and you don't have respect for such a man, and you think he became president from nowhere, a country whose motto is for God and my country, you think President Museveni just existed without God's permission? That can't happen.
Okay, should we say that the failure to obey the motto of our country is from the leaders?
It is from the leaders.
Okay.
And when I say leaders, I don't mean political, I don't mean maybe religious or cultural, starting from the family, the parents, starting from the older brothers and sisters who left a gap somewhere. Mr. Mulanzi, I believe for you when you were growing up, there were some things you couldn't do. And people watch.
Wadenalikana kambata.
Waliko kana kambata.
Nyo.
Ngori omuyimbi.
Nyo.
Sorry about that, but we thank God for what you have become. So you find out that these things starts from the families, from the communities. The MPs whom you see behaving in a barbaric way in parliament, there was something that lacked in the upbringing.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. The Bible says, show a child the way he should go. And when they grow up, they will not deviate from it. That's the Bible.
Okay, so parents in Uganda did not show their children the right way, and that is why when they have grown up, their children have deviated from that path.
Not even did not, they do not. But of course, not all of them. Some of them. Your parents, my parents did their part, and that's why we are here. And that's why we can go and work and that in our hands to put food on the table.
You know, for me, numbers matter to me. When you say some, I want you to draw for me a distinction. Is it the majority that have deviated or some that have deviated? Where is the
as we stand,
where are the number? Where do we see the big numbers?
As
the big
we stand
percentage?
now, the bigger percentage, actually up to 70 parents are relaxed.
Okay.
Early child education, boarding school. What is that? What time will the child get to learn the cores of the culture? To learn how parents are supposed to, how people are supposed to be treated well in society, how leaders are supposed to be respected. Technology has come up. You know what technology has done? It has helped us. Yes, we are on air right now because of technology. Messages can be shared with ease because of technology, but also morality has moved very fast because of the same technology. At a very early age, immorality, thank you.
Yes.
At a very tender age, children are sent to boarding schools. Boarding school is good, but you release your child with that a mind which is still learning almost everything. You have not instilled the good values, the good virtues in them, and then you send them to a world where they can learn by themselves. You introduce them to the computer world. Kids have phones nowadays, and you don't have control. And you're happy that at least your child can operate a phone. You're happy about that. And that is very, very wrong. What they meet on phone, you see, behavior is copied or it's learned. Behavioral change happens, I think, all the time. But it happens rapidly when the mind is still young. Anything the child hears, picks it and throws it in there. And for them, it's excitement. So long as nobody tells them, stop. We grew in the times where when you're from school and anybody mature than you finds you playing one, they would cane you.
Yeah.
Cane you, take you home, they cane you
many
again.
times.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But does it happen nowadays? You cane somebody, say, one of our government, something like that.
Bakulopa ku police.
Bakulopa ku police.
Bakuwa mwana wange.
Can you imagine? That is so misleading.
Now,
and it has contributed a lot on the moral decadence.
Well, obwongo bwange obutabudde. Now, that is happening. How do we get out of here?
How we get out of there?
Yes.
Starting from the parents. We could say policies, but you see, Uganda has all the policies. Uganda has all the policies.
Yeah, I was going to come
most
to
of
that.
Most of them are even punitive. You do this, you go here. You do this, they punish you this way. But you see, implementation of the policies is another lacking thing. I believe some people are sleeping on the job, but the first implementation begins from home.
You're talking about the father?
Yes.
You're talking about the mother?
Yes.
The guardian?
Yes.
Or anyone in charge?
Even the mature brothers and sisters can still guide. Even the neighbors. You see a neighbor's child going wrong, you should correct the person.
But you said when we correct them, now we have become a problem to their children. Why do you talk? They are my children, they are not yours.
Do it regardless. Do it regardless. You've done your part. Do it. Do it. Not that everybody who does a good thing will be praised. You'll be bashed, you'll be called all sorts of names, bad neighbor, but do it. Because there is something you're instilling in that child's life. I have children who have really given testimonies of once bad, and bad in quotes, once bad neighbors. But when they grow up, they approach those people and thank them. In case those people are dead, they really wish they lived, so that they went and they can have some time and thank them and appreciate them. Because it is just from moral decadence. When we talk about corruption now, when we talk about, you see, the country has been talking about corruption. But all starts from the lack of reverence to the Lord, the lack of fear, of utaswala. Like, what will they do to me? Even if I did it. If my parent couldn't. You hear children say, my parents don't cane me, who are you? And that is so bad. What happens? What is the results? Filling prisons. Any simple thing, of course, the mother can no longer handle. The law catches up with the person. Prison. And yet there are other alternative dispute resolution that could have happened apart from prison.
Yeah.
or courts of law.
Abazadde bano tubagaane okutwala abaana mu boarding.
Tetubagaana ne tubawa amagezi. Abanatwalaga amagezi bajja gatwala. But of course some of them will refuse.
But do you think free will works well with Ugandans?
It is better.
Giving them a free will, like, okay, choose either to come or not to come. Do you think they will come? When you have given them, you want them to come, but you're giving them a possibility, come or don't come.
It can work. And you see,
with a Ugandan parent.
like I told you, for God and my country, whatever you do, do it in line with what God would have done. God gives us free will. God gives us free will. Don't do this, but please do this. And says please. And still, you go and do it. Not because God is not powerful that he can stop you. You do it, but he has told you not to do it. Take our president, for example. People are corrupt, and people keep blaming him. You are not talking about the corrupt. What does he do? He doesn't come and start whipping everybody and shaming people, but he has a lot of information, like he says usually. But he doesn't shame people. He gives in a window for negotiation. He gives in a window for reconciliation. He gives in a window for change.
Then that really stamps corruption to be increasing every day. If he knows what to do and he's not doing it.
He just does it well. He just does it well.
The way he's doing it well. The way the president is fighting corruption.
He does it well.
Really?
You see, he's not saying that everybody should do it the way he does it. For him, he does it as a person who has that foresight. You rebuke this person with a lot of blood, people will run away from you. Even those now who trust you with information will start hiding the information. And still, we shouldn't kill people because they've done something bad. You can't get a hammer trying to hit a mosquito because it has bitten you. These are our people. These are leaders. You talk to them. If there is need for forgiveness, forgive them, and then they get room for change.
But Mr. Elvis, I want us to be honest. You're the one who brought in the motto of Uganda.
I'm still on it.
For God
and my country.
And my country. And now we are seeing that the increasing moral decadence, so the increasing immorality amongst Ugandans has led to acts like corruption. Okay? And now we are talking about how we are dealing
with corruption.
You brought in the person who should be number one, whether you want it or not.
Oh, yes.
Whether by constitution, whether by God's declaration.
Yes.
He should be number one
in fighting corruption. And I believe he does that.
You believe he's doing it. But now we are trying to critique
how he does
way of doing it, the way he's doing it, that kind of relaxing, okay, forgive them, okay, leave them. And now it is increasing. It is increasing the public debt of a country. It is making people now, they're like, okay, we should formalize the corruption. That way, you are saying that he's doing it well.
He's doing it well. But I was telling you, he's not supposed to do it alone. Those who are supposed to use force are there. The IGG is there. The law is there. Actually, they call it the long arm of the law. It catches up with you. But the president shouldn't come and act as though he is the law himself. And that's why he takes a back seat and monitors. And he brings the window, like I said, the window for reconciliation, the window for negotiation, if there be. He advises as a friend. He has been a president for close to 40 years. He knows what he's doing. And going back to the motto, like I told you, God can't allow such a person to be here for so long. God loves this country. Even our national anthem is a prayer itself. God can't forsake us. God can't give us a president whom he doesn't want for us.
Yeah, well, leaving alone the president and his long stay in power, putting that
and aside, how he handles corruption, which you have brought,
and how he's handling the corruption. Now we just want to hear from you.
How this thing?
Do you think if we continue with the way President Museveni handles corruption, will give us a corrupt-free Uganda?
Can I answer that question?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
When?
It has even become more clear. You're a journalist, you know what's happening in the news. How many MPs are in now?
But in?
Already committed to the High Court. That's not a joking thing. Already committed, meaning they are now ready for trial.
I don't want
there is
to
no
host
chance for
you
bail
again here.
Yes.
And you eat up your words. When it vanishes like that, because there are many.
I will not eat up my words. I don't think I'll eat up my words. But I'm telling you, when somebody is committed to the High Court, it shows seriousness in handling the matter. There is no longer going to be bail for them. Like they're already committed. They are ready now for trial. What comes from, and by the way, we are even making a mistake discussing what is in court, but I think we are not going so much.
No, we are not going so much into the deal. We have something that happened last year.
Yes.
Of the Mabati thing. Are you for real sure and 100% in agreement on the way we handled that issue? Because the Mabati, because that was corruption.
That was corruption. That was
pure corruption.
Oh yes, that was corruption. And of course, you saw what happened. People were taken in. The whole minister was taken in.
But remember the bunch
others were
of corrupt guys
and
in government.
We didn't get the report of the investigation, but if we had the report with us of the investigation, we would really be satisfied of what happened there. And the other thing is that these are professional people. We trust them. We trust the system and how they've done their things. We really trust it. So if maybe Minister Lugolobi has been let go, then Kitutu only, and then Nandutu have been taken in, the system knows what it's doing. It knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
Maybe after the investigation, only these two people were culpable. Maybe.
Yeah, of course, it looks like it's a pattern because the issue brought in, referring it to the motto, you remember when, for example, it is in public domain, when Minister Lugolo was put into prison, you remember people of Kayunga, they came, the way they appeared before.
But it wasn't because of that. That's why he was set free. It wasn't because of the people pressure. It can't be because of that. If the president or the state acts on pressure from people to condone maybe corruption or to condone any wrongdoing, you see what happened in Lubiji? The crackdown and the demolition of houses, that is something bad that we all can condemn. But I believe people slept in there. People slept on their job. Because NEMA warned the people. They didn't just wake up from their bed and came and demolished houses. They warned the people. These people voted some leaders to parliament and even their local leaders. They should have told them these things. They should have created some avenues of maybe talking to the NEMA people or the government.
Let me come. We will come back in the next episode.
All right.
And we start right there. We are still on this issue of trying to understand the motto of Uganda, for God and my country. And now we see that it seems...
And now people have deviated from the motto.
We have deviated from the motto. And how should we get back to the motto and its original significance, why we have it in our motto? Well, for now, you've heard it from Mr. Elvis Opondo, Freeman, born of Tororo. Soon will be the Rock City. What are you going to do as a Ugandan to ensure that you achieve the kind of Uganda that we want? My name is Mlans Robert. See you again next time. Bye-bye.